Hi, I'm Denise Granditz, coming to you from a very snowy Buffalo, New York. To say I am honored to be this year's recipient of the NCTE Media Literacy Award is a gross understatement. Every day I get to work with about 150 students, seeing them getting excited about all types of reading and writing. My students and I read traditional texts and we write traditional school assignments, but every day we explore the world in multiple modes. So I am honored to be recognized for my work and for the work of my students. For example, it is so exciting to see my students so engaged when making a movie. They're so mindful of character and costuming and setting, mindful of special effects and music. One of my students' favorite writing activities is to create tweets for characters in a book, and it's fascinating to see how much they've actually learned about a piece of literature when they have to create something completely new and probably never intended when the author wrote the book in the first place. They create Facebook pages mindful of how a character might have been feeling and that person's relationship with others throughout the book. And I even have had some students create playlists for characters' iPods, giving brilliant examples of why those songs should appear on the playlist. All of these things are showing critical thinking. My students and I enjoy reading classic novels and wonderful pieces of short stories and literature and poetry. But we also pay close attention to reading other kinds of texts, such as movies. We will break down a scene and talk about what scenery and lighting and sound effects and music have on the scene beyond the words and the actions. One of my students' favorite activities is to write from an image. This past school year, after we studied the novel Daniel's Story, I put up a picture of Holocaust victims in their striped pajamas behind a fence and asked my students to take the perspective of one of the people in the picture. Many students chose to be the strong man holding up the sicker man. Some chose to be the sicker person. Others asked if they could take the perspective of the ground and write about what that was like to hold all those people in their final moments. One student asked if she could write from the perspective of God, and another wrote from the perspective of the devil. So clearly, students can and should be reading classical pieces of literature, but they should be reading the world around them and the kinds of literacy they're going to be engaged with every day of their life. A classroom rich in media literacy expands the possibilities. In the words of the Common Core, my students are doing close reading every time they engage in any type of text. And I believe that when students are taught to read closely, they can do so in any mode. I am grateful to the work of media literacy scholars who have come before me and have paved the way. Without your work, teachers would be left in the blind and kind of discovering on their own. And on a personal note, I wanted to thank my family, my husband Jim, my sons Scott, Ryan, and Tyler, who put up with my sometimes obsessive work habits. And to my principal at St. Amelia School, Mr. James Muley, and to my Dean of Students, Nancy Kindred, thank you for believing that all students deserve a high-quality education and for understanding that one size does not fit all. And to all my students, past and present, for having the confidence in me and for trusting me with part of your education. Without you and your work, I would not be standing here where I am today. So I wanted to thank you for always being willing to go outside your comfort zone and to try something new. There's nothing more exhilarating than seeing students finally get it. And for that, I thank you. To my parents and my sisters for always supporting me, for my niece Erin, who's standing with me here today, videoing me on this freezing cold day, I thank you for always supporting me and for being in my corner. To my colleagues at the University of Buffalo, where I'm finishing up a PhD, I want to thank you for always pushing me to learn more. And to my mentors at UB, Dr. David Bruce and Dr. Suzanne Miller, thank you for setting me down new paths I never even knew existed and for having the faith in me to find my way. And again, thank you to everyone at the NCTE and to those of you on the Media Literacy Award Committee. You have bestowed on me an unbelievable honor, one that I will not forget for the rest of my life. It's hard doing the work of media literacy and changing things up in an English classroom because sometimes it doesn't look like the work of real school, and it's a challenge. but in my heart I know it works, and in my students' faces I could see it works. So thank you for all the hard work you do to let teachers see that there are many ways to reach our students, and that just a traditional text and traditional school writing might not be the only way to reach them. So thank you for your hard work, and thank you for bestowing on me, a teacher in the middle of snowy Buffalo, this remarkable award. I promise to go forth the rest of my career doing the good work of media literacy, trying to find out what else helps students learn best, and hopefully to share my learning with the rest of you so that media literacy can become no longer this thing we do once in a while in the classroom, but really an integral part of every ELA classroom. So thank you very much, and I'm so sorry I couldn't be there with you, and goodbye from snowy Buffalo.